Aloha, everybody. Gabe here from the Hawaii Institute of Self-Reliance, His Survival. Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Today's video is about living in Hawaii, the truth, and economics, jobs, that kind of topic, how well and how strong the state of Hawaii, the economic situation is here. And I'm going to say right off the bat, we are not the strongest. Our economy relies heavily on tourism. It's Hawaii, right? And so a lot of the jobs aren't a lot of money. The doctors get paid less. Everybody kind of gets paid less. The construction is nowhere near as much as, let's say, San Diego. So let's say San Diego, California, Honolulu, Hawaii. They're both coastal cities by the ocean. Very similar, kind of, California, the sun, Honolulu, surf and sun, kind of that similar thing going. But one is a lot stronger, which would be San Diego. Hawaii, Honolulu is just nowhere near as strong. Both have a heavy military presence, but San Diego will have easier access to natural resources. There's, LA is right there. There's plenty of big ports. Honolulu definitely is a big port, but it doesn't have, what you need to, run a business, do research besides, of course, oceanography or whatever. And Hawaii just doesn't have the oil, doesn't have all these things that are easily accessible. Everything has to be shipped over to Honolulu, which is a lot more expensive than like a train for San Diego, for instance. So yeah, and if Honolulu has a boom, it's nowhere near as like a boom as like in California or something, or San Diego. Now where I live is extremely poor, really poor. It's the frontier of Hawaii. We have no real tourism. There's no real jobs. It's extremely poor in Puna, and it's rough. The infrastructure is really not there. We're basically 10 years behind the mainland. So, for instance, like the road conditions aren't as good. There's not as much shopping. There's not as much. It's more expensive because everything has to be shipped over here. Now, jobs, like I was saying, is mainly tourism. So it's not a high income business, maybe for private entrepreneurs or people that own a tourist business or tourism business. That's where you can make the money, but as like a average worker, you're not going to be doing that well. A lot of people work at the resorts, but again, where I live, there's no real resort. There's not that many resorts here, and not very high class. It's all on the other side, Kona side. And Kona is very similar to, I would say, San Diego, California, except for, of course, it's a lot smaller. But Kona is like the desert with beach, and the beaches are 1,000 times better than San Diego. San Diego beaches are very boring, and Kona beaches are very exciting. But they have a good, strong tourism industry over there that's growing. Yeah, not as big as Honolulu or Waikiki Beach, of course, but it's the best, most strongest economy on this island would be Kona. So if you're wanting to move here and make money, Kona side is probably where you want to move to. Now, there's more people that move off this island that move on it. A lot of people move on it, fail, and move off. So you can get relatively new equipment or new appliances, new furniture, fairly easy because these people just fail. They don't realize that they can't make any money here, and they don't have like a, some kind of, CD or some kind of mutual fund or something making them money to where they can not really make any money for a long time while starting a business here. And that's what I would suggest. You have to have outside money, bring it here, and then you realize that you're not going to be able to succeed without that outside money coming in off island. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it is. And so, for instance, if the state wants to build like a storm shelter, well, there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to have to be outsourced because there's not that many Hawaiian-based companies that have the equipment and the manpower to accomplish some of this stuff, because it's just not very often that this happens. So there's no need to have these big machines and blah blah blah. And so it's hard, for businesses here. And a lot of companies will make it big here using the name Hawaii and then move everything off island. That's very common. And that brings me to the point of where Hawaii has to basically make something that's Hawaiian trademark, Kona coffee, for example. You can only grow it in Kona. It's a certain taste. It's a certain thing, right? And that's how you're going to make your money. Now you got to keep all the jobs on island. So you got to encourage these companies to keep all the jobs on this island and then ship the product off. So you grow the product here and you make the product. So you can't grow, for instance, papaya and then sell it to a company that makes jam or whatever, or they make dried papaya, right? Whatever, right? Well, you can't do that because you can't compete with Mexico. You can't compete with China and all these places that can grow tons of papaya really easy, because Hawaii is, again, limited. The big island Hawaii is as big as Connecticut, and you can take all the other islands, 8 other islands, and fit them inside the big island. So basically it's 2 Connecticuts, the whole state, right? And there's a lot more islands. There's like 150 total, but they go from sandbar to small little island. So it's really small. You can't grow and then compete with Mexico. You just can't do that. Now, if you made something out of what you grew, like for instance chocolate, you grew the chocolate here, right? The cacao. You made, somebody was doing, cane sugar, right? You got magnets, right? And you have all that together. It's grown here. It's made here. You got chocolate covered magnets that's made here and grown here and then shipped off. That's the only way you're going to succeed in business. And this has been talked about. The governor talked about this, and he wants to encourage this. So that's kind of why I'm making this video. And I encourage that. I really, anything that can help a small business in Hawaii and make something unique is awesome. That's the only way we're going to survive and compete. We have to create a brand that you can't get anywhere else, that has a certain taste that people get addicted to. So now, taxes are very low. Our tax is, I think, around 4%. So coming from San Diego, California, which some cities are like 10% over there. So that's a big difference. And yes, different cities have different, but where I live is about 4.5% tax on groceries and stuff like that, and that's our tax here. So that gives you a good idea, and the income tax is low, the property tax is low because there's no infrastructure. There's only like 4 cops for a huge area. It's country, and so the economic status of where I live is really poor. Like I was saying, it's one of the poorest in the United States, and we're farmland, but we can't grow and then compete with other places. So that's, you know, and then the tourism isn't very good here because it's rough. So, you know, Puna is very interesting. And let's see, what else about the, okay, so it's hard to find a job. And let's talk about Hawaiian time. That's kind of economic, right? You know, the Hawaiian time. We just got our first 60-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. So before, you know, a couple months ago, you could only go 55, and that's awesome, you know. And that actually has to do with the economic status of this place. We don't have any freeways. It's all highways. And let's see. So yeah, so you know, it's like starting a business. No one really has any money, so that's hard. Hawaiian time is like you're relaxed. We're on an island. It's a little bit more tribal. People are a little bit more family, more aloha, chill, relaxed, and not a lot of stuff gets done quick because you know, it's just, we're 10 years behind. When I was a kid, we were 30 years behind. So, you know, in the 80s, this place was 30 years behind the mainland. So what that means is the infrastructure and everything, you know, we didn't have all the new stuff. We don't have all the new stuff. You know, the cell phone service is kind of bad here. It's spotty. Verizon and AT&T are the best for cell phone. Yeah, so if you plan to move over here, you're gonna have to bring everything, right? So that's another, you know, economic problem, right? Yeah, it's not just like loading the U-Haul and moving, you know, over there, you know, 4-hour drive. No, you're putting everything on a container and moving over here. So shipping stuff is really expensive, and so that really hampers, you know, science research, you know, medical research. All these things is kind of hard. So, yeah, and I hope I gave this a good shot. I'm not an expert. I'm just I was born here, so I know, you know, a good idea of the economic status of where I live, at least. And you know, it's kind of interesting. We're definitely, you know, frontier of the United States and Hawaii, the wild, wild west. So I hope you like this video. I hope you comment. I'm here for any questions. I'll answer truthfully and best I can. And hit that red subscribe button for further videos. I'll definitely do further videos on this subject. And until next time, aloha!